So let's talk about the future. I mean, what kind of indications or applications could you foresee actually applying this technology to?
I mean, spinal cord injury is still our main interest.
Right.
And so we hope that one day we will be able to implant this stimulator very early after a spinal cord injury, in order to be able to use them immediately and to avoid having muscle loss and to completely lose your functions. So that's one option, one very important field we want to work in. We also would like to apply this technology for Parkinson's disease, for people who have gait problems,
Right.
stroke, and paralysis.
Right.
But we would also like to apply other technologies and biological strategies. Maybe you want to speak about that.
I think we set a mission for ourselves, which is to cure paralysis. Mm-hmm. And paralysis means many things. There's the visible consequences of paralysis. You can't move. There are also the invisible consequences, which are your bladder function, your blood pressure, as Josie mentioned. And our mission on Earth is to cure paralysis, all those paralyses, so that we are deploying all this, what we call electroceutical, so based on electricity, but we know it's not enough. This is why in parallel we are doing really detailed cell resolution to understand how to repair the spinal cord with gene therapies. Which we hope to combine with all our approaches.
Right.
And this has been quite successful.
Would that ultimately take the place of the electrical stimulation? Because it would simply be repaired at the biological level?
You expect both to be synergistic and necessary.
Right.
So you have to realize that after a severe spinal cord injury, there is a major damage. So, and with electrical stimulation, you'll never be able to replace this piece of spinal cord.
Right.
So this other weapon, biology, pushing nerve fibers to grow again through the vision is also necessary, but to drive them to the right position and having the right function, probably electricity will always be needed, at least during our life experience.
Right.
It may change when...
Well, it's obviously what you're based all of your work on now, right? But if you look 10 years into the future, what would you expect would be different about what you're doing compared to today?
So in 10 years, I hope we'll have a therapy and not experimental therapy, because for now, what we are developing is still at a level of clinical studies and not yet. We don't have yet a treatment that is reimbursed by the entrances.
Oh, I see. Oh, really?
So that's...
Okay.
I would say one of our first aims. That's what I told you. It takes so much time.
Right. Is that that's an approval issue or what regulatory?
Many years to have your technology and many years to get it approved for a medical indication.
Okay.
Because you have to go through a huge clinical study.
Yes.
For many months of evaluation to see that it really brings something.
That also means many, many patients, I guess.
Exactly. Yeah. That we call multicentric.
Yeah.
That is now starting now. We have the first multicentric study for the implantable device that is starting in the USA now. And it will take 2 years. And this is 10 years after having started our company.
Right.
That's why I tell you it's so long. And we are hoping 10 years from now to have a treatment that is validated and used everywhere.
Right.
So that's one of our first mission, but the others are...
This episode is brought to you by Swissquote. In a world of economic uncertainty, having full visibility and control over your finances matters more than ever. Swissquote is Switzerland's leading digital bank, combining everyday banking with advanced trading and investment solutions. So whether you're investing in stocks, ETFs, crypto, or just looking to actively manage your portfolio, Swissquote offers powerful tools, transparent pricing, and the security of a fully regulated Swiss bank. Discover more now at swissquote.com.
Well,
we're going to continue innovation. So we expect that in 10 years, we will have patients at the CHUV who will have a spinal cord injury. They will arrive in the operation theater, obviously, with trauma. And in the first few days, you will do injection in the spinal cord for wound repair and regeneration, together putting an implant. And then we will boost rehabilitation for many months with the hope that eventually we will cure the paralysis that would otherwise occur because of the injury.
And now how does that differ from the way things work today? It's just a question of the timing of when you actually can begin work on the patient, or?
I mean, from today.
I'm just not sure if I'm asking the right question, but what you just described, G, sounds a little bit like it sounds a little bit like what I thought was already happening now, right?
There is nothing happening now, like what he's describing. Now when you have a spinal cord injury, you send us an email, and if you potentially are a candidate to enter a study that has maximum of 10 people that can be included in this study, you are lucky, and that's it.
I understand. Right. So officially, this is still at the testing phase, right? Okay. And what you were talking about before is that you want this to actually be a therapy.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to have these hurdles of you have to get approval, blah blah blah. It's just
So
this. We start.
The good thing about Onward, in parallel to these implantable devices, they worked on a device that is actually there are patches that you put on your skin and that also stimulate the spinal cords.
Really?
With less precision as what we do when you have an implantable device, but still, there was a big study that showed that it was efficient.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the first product that is now sold by Onward and has tremendous success, even if it's not as efficient as what we get with implantable device. But you see here already that when it's a non-implantable technology, it goes much faster.
Right.
And but there is hope, and I'm sure there will be a lot of people interested in using this therapy.
Right, and that's been approved, and so it just basically can be prescribed and sold and commercialized
in any clinic.
That's great.
Yeah, there's a lot of success.
Yeah, and are you seeing then? I mean, you mentioned the multicentric aspect of the testing, right, and how important that is. Do you see a big difference between the approval processes in different places? I would imagine there must be, right? Because if they were all exactly the same, maybe only one testing center could do the job for everyone, right?
Not that much, actually. Mm-hmm. So like the pivotal device trial, so the label that we are running now to validate this implant by Onward, is occurring simultaneously in Europe and in the US. And the protocol is the same. Of course, you have little differences in the dossier that you need for the European Union versus in the US, but overall, it becomes more or less coordinated. Maybe it's a bit more complicated currently in Europe because they increase the regulation, but it's not that different.
In Europe, every country has its own regulation. In the US, the advantage, it's a big country with one regulation.
Right.
So when you drive a manual and you start a multicentric, it's easier to study it there.
Right.
And then the approval, if we get the FDA approval, then it's much easier. Then the CE approval in Europe goes faster.
Right.
And so it's the way normally people do.
Yeah. Interesting.